Blog Talk Radio.
I need that. Shut up. What you mean? What you think? What? Oh hey. What? You got me confused. What? Shall I make? Now we can't link. What? Tiptoe, my eyes cold. Gone, they long gone. Butterscotch is like gold. I'ma wrap that in the bowl. Big kiss. What? Shut up. What you mean? What you think? What? Oh hey. What? You got me confused. What? Shall I make? Now we can't link. What?
What up? It's your girl, Love Jones. Hi, and that's the sounds of Claudia Jordan, and she is an amazing indie artist out of LA, and that's her new single out called What? So, my guests today, Sylvia Kouveli and Ted Meyer. They're going to join me in just a second, and she and Ted are just amazing. Her foundation and her movement is called bOObs for Prevention, so it's boob for breast cancer awareness. And so let's ask yourself, what do you actually know about boobs, huh? And I'm not just talking about how they look and how pretty they are, but what do you really know about breast cancer? Hashtag bOObs for Life is a compilation of visually portrayed stories about physical trauma, personal struggle, and survival, and the celebration of life. It is the fruit of a collaborative work from Sylvia and Ted, presented with support with the American Cancer Society. So, without further ado, my featured guests for this afternoon, Sylvia and Ted, thank you for joining me.
Hi,
Thank
Ty.
you for
Thanks for having us.
Thank you for being here. So, Sylvia, I also was looking into some information about you, and I discovered that you study photography in Barcelona, Spain. So I'm going to give you the platform first, and then I'll let you and Ted bounce off of each other, so that way we can have a very serious roundtable discussion. How's that?
Sounds good. And yeah,
Okay.
I'm actually Greek, but I was living in Spain for 7 years, and the grand majority of those years I spent in Barcelona, where is where I started really developing my photography skills that up to that point were more just a pastime and a fun activity for me. But I started doing it more professionally, and I had the opportunity to learn from various teachers and be influenced by various photographers there in Barcelona until I started freelancing as a photographer, and I'm actually currently moving around from different places, different countries in Europe, and now in the States as well.
Very good. That's so cool. So to give my listeners a brief description about Ted, Ted creates artwork from scars that celebrate strength and survival, portraying the beauty and humor of physicality while exploring narratives of the human condition. I think that's so amazing. So Scarred for Life consists of artistically enhanced monoprints taken directly from the scarred skin of his subjects. And you guys can see this exhibition at the Perfect Exposure Gallery. If you're in California, it is 2424 West Valley Boulevard, Alhambra, California, until October 20th. Ted, give us a little bit of description and understanding behind your motivation and the collaborative effort between yourself and Sylvia.
Great. Well, my work started a long time ago. I was born with a rare genetic illness, and at the time, I did artwork about myself to tell my story and what was going on with me. And then there were some new drugs and a couple of new treatments, and all of a sudden I didn't really have anything left to say about me because my symptoms had disappeared, and I thought maybe I would do work that would have a narrative about other people. And I decided that using scars was a good way to tell their story, because if you have a scar, there's got to be a good story with it, right? And so I've been doing that for about 20 years now. I have all sorts of scars in the collection, some of which already dealt with different cancers, breast cancer and lung cancer, things like that. And then when Sylvia and I met, we decided that I could sort of adapt some of my work to fit into her project, and she came out here to LA and we started collaborating, and now we have this great show.
Right. I actually have to say, when I first saw some of the images, I had not done any research about bOObs for prevention. I just myself am a recent breast cancer survivor, and so I have to be honest, and this is something between the three of us that all are listening. Until it hits you, you really don't pay attention. Do you understand what I'm saying? Until you're not, you know what I'm saying? Like, until you become a survivor, a fighter of something, it's like, okay, yeah, breast cancer month, okay, yeah, let me donate. And then some people don't donate at all. So then when I came across you, Sylvia, and I think it was prior to you, it was the bOObs for prevention, when I created my breast cancer page on Instagram, I started getting flooded with all these new women that just started becoming on my show, from Dana Donofree, from, Anna Ono, and then the ladies from For the Breast of Us have come on the show, and now you. Yeah. And honestly, because of your artwork, that's why I put up that post of the clown face and the boobs with the pink boxing gloves, because I was like, you know what, it's time for me to show the tatas too, because you were inspiring for me. So thank you for that. So
thank you so much for saying that.
I love it. And what would you, if you had to tell other women how they wanted to become a part of your movement, how would they go about doing that?
Right. So just on that point that you just mentioned, the fact that we don't really know what breast cancer is, the awareness behind it, the real true story, until it actually hits us, it's actually part of the original inception of the project. So #bOObs is about learning what we truly have to do to protect ourselves, to know our body, to figure out what we need to do if we do detect any abnormal changes when we do our self-breast exams, and how to deal with it. To an extension, it reaches out to the community for those women who are currently fighting with breast cancer, so they can find their tribe and, sort of have somebody that they can speak to who already knows or has been going through the same thing as they are. And also help in the healing process. So the fact that we, wear pink and we donate in October and we participate in runs is great, but I think there's a major part of that awareness missing, especially in younger women who are not the main target of these campaigns. So I started my #bOObs project exactly for that, so we can see real images of women's chests and first of all understand that we're not all alike. In fact, there aren't two boobs that look alike, not even on the same chest. So first of all, we just need to realize that we're unique and that's okay. And we need to love our body and know it. And by knowing it is how we can protect it and take real care of it, which extends to the part about prevention and breast cancer detection at an early stage if that happens. Because the main part about having an early diagnosis is that you have a big variety of treatment options and procedures that could save your life. If you delay it and you don't go to the doctor on time and you happen to have a malignant lump, for example, in your chest, it could be that it's quite late for any of the available treatments to work on you. And until we find a cure for breast cancer, we really must be our own advocates. We have to take care of our body, really know it, and do all the necessary screening and tests.
So, Sylvia, you and Ted, how did you two come about? Ted, you want to give me some understanding of how did you two even come across paths and meet and then come up with this wonderful collaborative effort to work together? How did that come about?
Well, I had some work in a show in Athens about 2 years ago, and luckily for me, she walked into the gallery and introduced herself and told me about her project. So immediately we thought, oh, this was a good fit, and at some time we would do a show together. So what I was going to say about our work is that they have slightly different focus, even though they're all breasts. And mine, because it's scar work, I tend to sort of focus a little more on the story post-operative. So Sylvia is although she has that in her work, hers is very much about prevention, knowing, helping people, and mine is
Are you there, Ted?
Ted, I think we lost you a bit there.
Okay. So
I think what Ted was going to say is that his work is more about the story, how the people with the scar view the scar, and how that is a story of survival and how they have moved on from the illness to the next stage of their life.
So is your area code 760 or the 323?
323.
323. Oh, there you are. Now we can hear you.
Yeah, I'm here. I don't know what happened.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
So I'm sorry. So my work has always been about sort of how people survive after a trauma. And so it seemed like a good match for Sylvia's, which is all about information to possibly stop the trauma or help people get through the trauma with correct information. So it was a nice pairing.
I actually am looking over some statistics. For those that want to follow Sylvia and Ted, Sylvia has a wonderful website. It's SylviaKouveli.com. So SylviaKouveli.com. And you have an interesting quote, and I actually like where you're going with this, Ted, because on the 15th, I am going to have a brother that goes by the name of Rob Daddy on the show, and he is a breast cancer survivor, and he's a male. So with that said, I'm going to jump into this statistic because I found it on your website, Sylvia, and I think it's amazing that you put this out there. Key statistics for breast cancer in men. The American Cancer Society estimates for breast cancer in men in the U.S. in 2019, it's about 2,670 new cases of invasive breast cancer will be diagnosed. About 500 men will die from breast cancer. So that's a disturbing fact, but it's a true fact. I love the way you guys are being yin and yang. One is talking about early prevention. You're also talking about awareness, and the other person, Ted,